paper getting hard to ignore me.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Today on the road. I'm out here in Pennsylvania right now, middle of the damn mountains. Top of a mountain somewhere out here. Forgot where I'm at. Williamsport. Yeah, Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Yeah, been a little hectic little week. Running on recaps right now, so doing all that math is not fun right now. Because I had kind of, I didn't do it the way you should do it when you're running on recaps. My first couple days was, a little bit rough. I had a couple 13-hour days in there, so the time is all over the place. So what I'm dealing with now is trying to manage all that time, still get all these deliveries done and whatnot. So how you doing? As soon as he gets back, we're going to number 2. All right. Alright, yeah, so we're dealing with the recap situation and all that good stuff that come with that. So, but yeah, I just want to jump on this video to talk about motivation versus discipline. A little while ago, a couple years ago, I stopped looking for motivation. I started practicing discipline. The reason being, motivation is temporary and discipline is not temporary. Discipline is consistent. So you can be motivated in a minute for whatever the case is. You can have motivation for a day. You can get motivated, feel like, top of the world and all that good stuff. But that motivation fades away every single time. It's always gonna fade away. So what do you do when you're motivated today? You make all these plans, but then tomorrow you wake up and you're not as motivated. And what happens? So instead of chasing motivation, you chase discipline. Or not even chase discipline, but you practice discipline, because discipline ain't really something that, like, you get. Discipline is something that you have to do. So I'm gonna have to back up some more so you can get out. Maybe. Yeah, discipline is an action. It's a practice. You have to actively be disciplined. You have to do it. So the whole purpose of discipline is that you do whatever you need to do, whatever you want to do, with or without motivation. So even when you're not motivated, you still do whatever the thing is. A good example would be going to the gym. I don't go to the gym. I ain't really into the gym life right now. But some days you don't feel like going to the gym. Some days you motivated. You want to go to the gym. You hyped up. You ready to get in there. You ready to get it done. All that good stuff. But some days you wake up and you like, man, I don't really feel like doing no gym. I don't really feel like doing all this, getting out of bed and go sweat and work and heart racing and all this good stuff. You don't really feel like doing it. So in order to still get up and go do those things, you have to practice discipline. You have to practice being disciplined. So that's what I've been practicing for the in recent times. Because what I'll say is, getting this truck for me personally wasn't a short process. It's really been a 3 year. Really been 3 years in the making. A lot of ups, and it's really been 4 or 5 years in the making. I'm not even gonna hold you, because when I got my CDL, I already knew this was the goal. Which this ain't even like, this truck that I have right now isn't even the final form of this goal, because the truck that I want, this ain't really the situation that I wanted. I have a truck, yes, but it's not really the situation that I wanted. So it still ain't really the final form of the goal. But since I got my CDL 5 years ago, just about going on 5 years, I already knew this was the plan: get my CDL, get my experience, and get into my own truck, run my own trucking business. So this point where I'm at right now, and we still have some way to go. This point right now has been 5 years in the making. So you can't stay motivated for 5 years. It's not gonna happen. You might stay on and off motivated for 5 years. Like me, that's how life works, man. It's ups and downs. It's a wave. It's all a wave. So 1 week you might be motivated, next week you're not motivated, next week after that you motivated. You might go through a whole month where you're not motivated. Like, man, I don't even know about all this. Man. This ain't really making no sense, man. Just give this shit up. But throughout that wave, the discipline is what keeps the balance throughout that wave. Because there's been a lot of turns on this road. I thought when going into it, you think it's a straight path, right? From point A to point B, you think it's a straight line. It ain't never a straight line. I don't care what it is. It ain't never a straight line. So, throughout all those turns, and because like in my 5 years, so let's put it this way. So in my 5 years up to this point, a little bit under 5 years, I got my CDL. I went over the road. I went local. The first local job I took, then I wasn't on what they was on. So I left, switched up the plans, ended up buying a truck before it was time for me to buy a truck, and it was a box truck because I was trying to get into something quicker and all of this. I rushed it. That set me back a couple years, because had I not made that move, it's a give and take, because I learned a lot of stuff. I learned a ton of stuff from that box truck that I had. Like, things that right now is invaluable to me. Things that I learned on that box truck has already saved me probably over $1,000 just since I've been in this truck. Already, it saved me probably a tow bill, honestly, because just knowing, just being prepared for situations that I got that mindset from having that box truck. That potentially saved me a tow bill already. So, and then whatever the shop would have charged me to fix the problem, which really wasn't that big of a problem. They still would have probably charged me $400 or $500 or whatever. But it already saved me, some money. So, and I only had this truck for about a month and going on a month and a half. So like, it's a give and a take. Yeah, I did it, ahead of time. I kind of rushed into it, but I still learned so many things from that experience, to where I wouldn't undo it. Like I don't regret doing it. I just acknowledge the fact that I rushed it, and in the future maybe move differently. So, but I got the box truck, did that for a while. That ended up not really working out all too well. I went back to a company job as a fuel hauler. I did that for 3 years. Plan was only to do that for a year. I did that for 3 years. Ended up doing some other stuff in life. Life did its thing for a little while, and then finally after just under 3 years of doing fuel hauling, I got this truck. So, which I think I'll be today, May 31st, or no, May 30th. Somewhere in June would be my 3-year mark of doing fuel hauling, since I went back to a company job. So, and I had my box truck for about a year. Well, I had it for 2 years, but I was running it for about a year. I had somebody else running it for a little while, and I was kind of still running it a little bit. Don't tell nobody about all that, but yeah. So did that, and then we finally got here. But throughout that whole process, I didn't feel like necessarily buying a truck every day. I didn't wake up every day like hyped up to like do this trucking, own an operator business, running a trucking business. I didn't wake up hyped every day for that. For the past 5 years. For the first year, that was the goal. It was like, yeah, this is what we're working towards. Then that kind of started to get knocked down the longer you in this industry, and then doing the box truck. I ain't gonna say failing at the box truck, but stepping back from the box truck, because I could have kept the box truck running. It just didn't make sense. And before I had bought the truck cash, so I ain't have payments on it or nothing. That's why I kept it for 2 years, even though I wasn't running it. I just had that thing parked up somewhere, and if it made sense to use it for a weekend, a day, or whatever the case is, I'd just hop in and do something real quick and park it back up. But I had insurance on it. The insurance wasn't super cheap, but and I have Progressive, so if I needed to do something, I could always change it on with Progressive. You could change everything online. They don't you just go online, you change coverages. That's it. So, and it's effective immediately, whatever the case is. So if I wanted like full coverage, cargo and all that, all I had to do, I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that online. I think I had to call them. But either way, you call them. Yeah, I need to add cargo insurance, and I need to add whatever the case is, X, Y, and Z. They tell you, all right, your next bill gonna be this amount. All right, cool. If you need to take it off, call them. Hey, I need to take off that cargo insurance, such and such and such, and that's it. I ain't do that a whole lot too. I ain't do that too much, but the process was very simple. So when I had it parked and I wasn't doing nothing with it, I had very bare minimum insurance on it. So, but it didn't make sense though. Like, it wasn't getting me any closer to the goal of getting a truck, because I wasn't making enough money. I was making enough money to sustain my personal life for a year, but I wasn't making enough money to sustain a business and my personal life for a year. So I was like, man, I'm gonna just pull back off this, regroup, and go at it again when I'm ready. So that's what we did. But throughout that whole process, going back to a company job and all that, and even being at the company job, you don't wake up motivated for this every day. Like, you don't wake up motivated for it every week. Like I said, it might be a month where you just not motivated for it. It's not like I ain't gonna say it's not on your mind, but or whatever it is, because I'm speaking about trucking because it's what I do. But whatever it is, you might wake up with a month where not that it's not on your mind, but you're not enthusiastic about it. You're not like, yeah, like this. I'm excited to go do this, whatever it is. So, in order to balance that, you got to be disciplined. That's the only option. You got to be disciplined, because even though I wasn't motivated those whole 5 years, I still knew that this was the end goal regardless. So I was still working towards this. I was still positioning myself for when to get to this point. Through discipline, I knew things had to get done in order for me to get here, in order for me to do this. So I was doing those things. Now, there's another part to that which you could say is focus and discipline. But so I could have been more focused on this. If I would have been more focused on this, I probably would have got it done a little quicker. But like I said, I'm a human. Life. So I ended up, just dealing with life for a little while. So I wasn't 100% focused on this, but I was still disciplined in the fact that I'm going to do this, and I need to take steps to do this. So I was still the whole time I'm still researching. I'm still looking for. So when I went back to fuel hauling, right? So those first 2 years was, all right, I'm gonna get a truck. I'm gonna go buy a truck. I'm gonna save up, I'm gonna buy a truck. That was the first 2 years. After I bought the box truck and went back to fuel hauling, that was the first year. And until I got the box truck. After I got the box truck, went back to fuel hauling, or went to fuel hauling. Those next 3 years was, I need to figure out a way to get a truck that makes sense. So not necessarily that I need to buy a truck, but I need to buy a truck and make it make sense. I need to figure out how I need the game plan for this trucking industry. Buying a truck, being an owner operator, running a trucking business, all that good stuff. I need to figure out a way that works for me to get into a truck. And then also how to run that truck, where to run that truck, all that stuff. I forgot I'm in the mountains. I just look behind me and it is like in my rearview mirror you couldn't even see the sky. It's just a damn mountain. Threw me off for a second. I'm not used to this, y'all, but when I did my little over the road time, I ain't come up to no Pennsylvania and all that stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, back to the topic. That was for the next 3 years. So for those whole 3 years, I'm researching, I'm looking for things, I'm trying to do things, I'm saving up money, I'm trying to balance I already know I need to manage personal expenses. I need to manage, in order to get back into this, that was one of the big things, was I needed to know that my personal expenses was to a point and that they could be managed. And whatever situation I got into when I got a truck, I needed to know that at the bare minimum, those personal expenses will be taken care of, because debt is an issue in this trucking industry. Going into debt, which I went into debt to buy the truck, but that's not the debt I'm talking about. The debt I'm talking about is credit cards and loans. In this trucking industry, stay away from credit cards and loans. Now, if you want to use a credit card for the points and all that good stuff, whatever, and you pay and you gotta have the cash already. Like, don't use a credit card, don't use loans if you don't have the cash on hand. If you need $5,000 for a repair and you have $5,000 in cash on you plus some, but you have the $5,000 in cash, and you want to use a credit card just so you get the points on it or whatever, and then pay that off before the bill even get to you. Drop the money on that, pay that off. Yeah, that's fine. But what I mean is using credit cards and loans to supplement the money that you're making. That it will not work out. I promise you. I know from experience. Don't do it. So that's also why the 3 years took me so long. Because when I had that box truck, that's one of the lessons I learned. Do not come into this thinking you're gonna use a credit card to float by until you start making money. It's not gonna work. I don't see no way of it making sense. It I don't think it ain't gonna work, man. Cause like you gonna use like if you're not making enough money, you need to situate. You need to figure that out. If you're not retaining enough money, you need to figure that out. A credit card or loan debt is not. It might be necessary, but you need to figure that out before you even get into this. To make sure that you're gonna have enough money where you don't need to rely on that. Now, if you out here and things get hectic and it go down, I wouldn't even go. Like at this point, the point I'm at right now, I'm kind of getting off topic with the discipline thing, but at the point I'm at right now, if I needed to use a credit card for something, like if something came up and I needed to use a credit card or I needed to go get a loan for something, if there's anything outside of somebody looking out and somebody like personally giving me like a cash loan and I pay them back with that or whatever the case is, cause that's another thing. These credit cards and these personal loans and all that, the interest is ridiculous. So that's part of what kills it. But if I'm if I situated out with somebody that I know personally and they're like, hey man, I'll front you $5, whatever, and you just pay it back to me and we work that out, I might consider that. But at this point, if I got to do any of that, this truck gone and I'm going back to a company job, because I set myself up to a point where I shouldn't have to fall onto that. And I ain't even gonna say the truck gone, but the truck getting parked up somewhere, because I also situated it to where what I'm paying for this truck I can manage if the truck isn't making money. Because right now I don't have I'm leased on to JB Hunt, so this is getting way off topic. I'm leased on to JB Hunt, but so I got their deductions, their insurance and everything on there. The only expense I have from this truck outside of the deductions from JB Hunt, if it's not moving, is the truck payment. So worst case scenario, if I have to park this truck, pay an extra, I don't know, $100, which I probably got somewhere I could park it for free. I'm pretty sure I got somewhere I could park it for free, sit in the grass for a little while. I'm going back to a job. I'm going to stack the money back up somehow, and we're going to do it that way. But we're not doing the credit route. Like, we're not doing the debt route for it. So, but that's some those things are some of the lessons I learned from that box truck. But like all those things throughout those other 3 years, like I wasn't enthused and motivated to get it 100% of the time, but I still worked on those things while I was in the process of it. I still worked on those things. It was a couple times I thought, man, I don't even know about this, man. I might as well just stay working at this job. I had the job I was at last was $100,000 a year job. Probably a little bit more than that, 105, 110, something like that. It was paying pretty good. I was like, man, I might as well just stay here. Should run it up here for a little while and whatever. You think like that sometimes, and that's normal. That's because motivation come in waves. Sometimes you unmotivated when you're on the bottom end of that wave. You start thinking like that. But discipline kept me balanced with it. So I would think like that sometimes, whatever the case is, a couple times, whatever. But the discipline of, I already made up my mind. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm trying to figure out. This is what I'm working on. X, Y, and Z. We're gonna do this. So that's all I'm trying to say really is it's fine to get motivation, to seek motivation, all that stuff, but don't rely on motivation. Build discipline to where you are doing what you need to do, whether you motivated or not. Whether you wake up and you want to do this, if you wake up you don't want to do it. Even with a job, man, like you don't want to work a job every day, but you still go, don't you? You still go clock in. Yeah. You go clock in for sure. So that's discipline, even though you don't know it. You might not know that's discipline, but that's discipline. Every day that you wake up and clock in to this damn job is discipline. I gotta go back into this dock, so give me 1 second. I should have been open my damn doors. Yeah, so we're gonna pick this up a little bit later. But that was my main thing, man. Discipline over motivation. Figure out the discipline. Build disciplines. Build discipline. And yeah. Don't rely on motivation. Rely on discipline.